Right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. It's hard to deny the success that the New England Patriots team owner Robert Kraft had with his former head coach Bill Belichick. From 2001 to 2019, the Patriots won six Super Bowl championships in nine appearances in the big game. And over that stretch, New England only missed the playoffs twice, while they never had a losing season. But of course, all of this, with the exception of one season, was with Tom Brady as a starting quarterback for the Patriots. All right. Now, with all of that said, the writing was on the wall that there in regards to there being some friction between Kraft and Belichick, and the beginning of the end of this relationship came when after Brady left the Patriots after the 2019 season, he'd go on to win a Super Bowl in his first season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which incensed Kraft because Belichick went out of his way to convince Kraft that Brady was finished. Now, in Belichick's four seasons in New England after Brady left, his record was only 29 and 38. And during that stretch, the Pats only made one playoff appearance, no postseason wins, and three losing seasons. And when the Patriots finished 2023 with the record of 4 and 13, which was their worst season in more than 30 years, Robert Kraft at that point had seen enough, and he made the decision to move on from Bill Belichick. And since then, an already tumultuous relationship between Kraft and Belichick has continued to deteriorate. As honestly, it's more frigid than those New England winters, okay? Because, Kraft has publicly criticized Belichick more than once, and he talked about the risk upon hiring Belichick as his head coach after the 1999 season. And then Belichick clapping back recently when he talked about him taking a risk on Kraft to join the Patriots, as multiple people warned him not to take the job. You can clearly see, okay, that there was tension behind the scenes in Foxborough. And it's usually like that with sustained success for an organization because eventually, unfortunately, the egos they start to ruin things. And honestly, you look at so many different things, and I think one of the biggest things for me with the demise of that Patriots dynasty was that Bill Belichick felt that he could win without Tom Brady. Don't get me wrong. Tom Brady was not going to play forever. And at some point, you have to find his heir apparent at quarterback. And it's one of those where you could clearly see that Tom Brady felt underappreciated by his head coach because, from an outsider's perspective, it just looked like eventually Bill Belichick, A, felt like he could win with anybody on his team, and B, he could, just put anybody around Tom Brady and it would work as it was all about the system. But at the end of the day, the system was Tom Brady. Okay. And I think it really has shown post his New England tenure and, of course, post Belichick's time in New England as New England's head coach. You go back to the failed trade attempt when many years ago when Belichick was willing to trade Brady and Robert Kraft put his foot down and said no. And of course, it would end up being Jimmy G who got traded to the San Francisco 49ers. And of course, the Patriots would go on to win some more with Tom Brady under center. But at the end of the day, you could see that there's bad blood between Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick. I mean, one of the biggest things for me, why is Bill Belichick still not in the Patriots Hall of Fame? I mean, you look at it, his 261 wins as a Patriots head coach, clearly that is the most in franchise history. You think about all of the success that they had together, and honestly, at the end of the day, there's some bad blood there because I mean, you look at it, you heard the stories. Brady was emotional when the decision came that he would not be returning to New England for 2020, and the team was going in a different direction. Kraft took that personally. He really took it personal after seeing Brady go on and have success with Tampa Bay to finish out his career. And then, we saw the demise of the Patriots franchise. And I think that is something, in my opinion, along with several other things that, will come to the light sooner rather than later, that, in my opinion, Robert Kraft is holding against Bill Belichick. Nonetheless, you look at this situation right now with Robert Kraft, you look at this situation with Bill Belichick. Nobody really wants to have another Jimmy Johnson, Jerry Jones type situation right here, as there's too much history, too much successful history between Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick for them to not put their egos aside and, have some harmony at this point. And I say this because clearly, the Jimmy Johnson, Jerry Jones situation was a little bit different, but I'm just saying from the aspect that there was so much success between head coach and team owner working together. You can't just push that aside. And I think at some point the egos need to be pushed aside and do what's best for everybody involved here. Bill Belichick should be in the Patriots Hall of Fame. I don't know if he's ever going to coach in the National Football League again. We got to wait and see. I think some of that is going to hinge on the amount of success that he's going to be able to have collegiately at North Carolina. But nonetheless, Bill Belichick belongs in the Patriots Hall of Fame. You think about the New England franchise, they have 11 Super Bowl appearances. 10 of those are with Bill Belichick on their coaching staff. Remember, he was an assistant coach to Bill Parcells when the Patriots made the Super Bowl at the end of the 1996 season. So, nonetheless, with all of that said, we clearly know, I was one of those who said it during Brady's tenure that Brady was the glue that kept things going. And, post Tom Brady in New England, that is, once again the case. Bill Belichick did not have a lot of success after Tom Brady left New England, and that was to be expected. Okay, Bill Belichick didn't have a lot of success previous to Tom Brady in his coaching career either. He only made the postseason once during those 5 seasons with the Cleveland Browns. But nonetheless, I said this after Robert Kraft made the decision to move on from Bill Belichick. And of course, I said this multiple times during that 2023 season when New England would finish 4-13. Bill Belichick, the GM, didn't do Bill Belichick, the head coach, any favors. And it was one of those where his drafting for so many years, and this is even when the Patriots were winning and having success, his drafting was sketchy, especially in the first and second rounds. It eventually caught up to him. And then, in my opinion, Bill Belichick's inability to draft and develop quality players for this Patriots organization has set them back a little bit. We saw them struggle last year under Gerard Mayo. Let's see how they turn if they're able to turn things around immediately this year under Mike Vrabel. But nonetheless, I truly do think that Robert Kraft is holding some things against Bill Belichick. It's one of those, again, I feel at some point, cooler heads should prevail between these two men. There's too much success there. And there has been too much success there for them to just be so contentious at this point. That's just my 2 cents on it. Hopefully, these two stalwarts of the Patriots franchise can kiss and make up at some point. Everybody goes on. I think Bill Belichick, deserves his own wing in the Patriots Hall of Fame. I think, Robert Kraft is frustrated by things. Robert Kraft, I think, is frustrated by a lot of things. Honestly, I think Robert Kraft is frustrated by the fact that he is still not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame as a team owner. No team owner has won more championships than Robert Kraft. And I think some of that has to do with the Flakegate, Spygate, all of that stuff. And I think those are reasons, in my opinion, why Robert Kraft is being held out of Canton. I mean, whether you agree with the Flakegate and Spygate or not, okay, that's up to you. But just in my personal opinion, I think all of those clouds that are hanging over the Patriots organization are a reason why Kraft is not in Canton. But nonetheless, at some point, Hopefully, cooler heads will prevail between pardon me, not Brady, but Kraft and Belichick. But, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. And as always, if you like what you heard and saw in this podcast, you know what to do. Just hit that like button as well as subscribing to this channel. And like I always say, it is greatly appreciated. Also, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. And also, for all of you football fans, the start of the college football season is right around the corner. And be sure to stay tuned to this channel as I'm going to give you a conference by conference breakdown of the upcoming college football season, as well as my top 25 and my college football playoff projections. Also, if you're on Instagram, just like it is on Twitter, you can check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports. You give me that follow, I will give you that follow right back. And you can also check us out on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the better sports groups going on social media. But until next time, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, and I'm saying thanks once again for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.